We'll talk about that Vodafone Idea story because there are so many angles to it, right? For years, markets and many who've sort of kept the faith that Vodafone Ideas will come back, will get an infusion, etc. I mean, it kind of got moving yesterday. The board approved basically a potential fundraise all the way up to about $5.5 billion or so. So there's a mix of equity, debt, promoters bringing in money, and all of that. So what are the implications of this? Gurmeet Chadha is managing partner and CIO, Complete Circle. He's joining us right now. Gurmeet, let's just step back and look at the bigger picture, right? Does this make a real dent into the big debt pile that Idea has and all that it owes to the government? I mean, how do the big numbers really look for Vodafone Idea if they get this done?
Shant, they have announced it in the past.
Yeah.
The board, I've been hearing this for a while now. I think it's almost been 2-3 times board has called upon, potential fundraise, and of which I think 20,000 crore is equity. I would like to see who the participants are, how much are the promoters coming in. I think one concern for the market, which also I think has got to do with the management commentary, has been, promoters being unwilling, whether it is, the Aditya Birla Group as well as, the Voda PLC. So I think out of the equity raise, they want to see some promoter commitment and the depth of the external investor. I think that's extremely important, just in the fundraise, because this business requires continuous capex. Today it's 5G, tomorrow it will be 6G, right? And there are deferred liabilities, and they've been losing subscribers. I remember at the time of merger, they had 42 crore subscribers. They've already lost more than 50%, and it's like, in our language we call it as a leaking bucket. The company has a negative net worth. The debt is now excess of 2.2 lakh crores. So I think the quantum would be just enough right now, being sentimentally positive. There's a lot of repair work, a lot of spectrum allocation they need to have just to compete with Jio and Bharti, because they are really up the curve now. And it's not just about wireless additions; it's also about what you bring to the table as the complete digital portfolio. So I am still not convinced. I would like to see who comes in. More. It's a very strong player coming in. Then we'll probably make a view on it.
No, absolutely. Nitin is also with us. Gurmeet, well put. I just want to make a quick mention. The pre-open is on, and I think Shriram Finance is starting about 5% higher. Just wanted to make a quick mention because there's a lot of interest around it. In the last 1 or 2 hours or so, the stock did sell off sharply. And that's a big move. 7% on Shriram Finance this morning. So that's got to be, it was the stock of the day yesterday on the downside, and I think this morning is likely to be the stock of the day on the upside as well. 7.5 higher. So that's a big, second largest NBFC, assets under management of over 2 lakh crores. And of course, still not very sort of unreasonable valuation-wise. Sharp sell-off and a reversal coming in today. Nitin Soni, Senior Director, Corporate Ratings at Fitch, is also with us. Nitin, good to have you with us here as well. Your thoughts? I mean, you heard, I'm assuming you heard some of what Gurmeet said. He said this has been kind of attempted many times in the past, but he'd like to see the list of investors who actually come in. Although this time the promoters are also putting in money. Go on, Nitin.
Sure. Thanks for having me on the show. So yeah, I completely share the views from Gurmeet. I think what we have seen that Vodafone Idea is looking to raise funds in the market, but they haven't been successful. They have been trying to raise funds from the last 1 or 2 years. This announcement is good. I mean, they need money. Definitely, they haven't launched 5G, while both Bharti and Reliance Jio are already have launched 5G and adding 5G subscribers. And to me, it feels like Vodafone Idea is missing the boat on 5G, and they could actually lose more customers because they haven't launched 5G yet. So even if they are successful in raising this kind of a money, 45,000 crore, it will still take up some lead time for them to launch 5G and compete effectively in the market. And they continue to lose subscribers, about 1 to 2 million subscribers every month to Jio or Bharti. In terms of the financial performance, they have performed okay. I mean, the average revenue per user has increased to 145 in the last quarter, but it's still well below Bharti's and Jio subscribers. So they definitely need to raise a large sum of money to launch 5G and to augment their capex, which they haven't been doing much. Otherwise, I think they will, the customer churn will increase going forward.
Well, if the market's verdict is anything to go by, the market's not enthused. And that's probably because there weren't too many specifics. There was a big headline of 45,000 crores, out of which 20,000 crores is equity. But the names were missing, specific timelines and dates were missing. Nitin, just comment on the other part as well. So they're saying 20,000 crores equity and 25,000 crores of some format of, debt financing as well. And they say that they're in talks with the lenders. How critical could that be in restoring confidence? And what would you like to see immediately on the table for the market to start believing that a turnaround is indeed in the works?
So I'm sure that the lenders would be also looking at this equity raise, and I'm sure that lenders wouldn't be comfortable to lend additional money if there is no equity raise. So I think the first step is that they should get this 20,000 crores from strong investors who probably are also willing to add on to this investment later on, because this 20,000 crore may not be enough. As you know, these telcos need to continuously do capex and they need to roll out 5G. And the second step is to get this 25,000 crore of debt, which will add on to the 2.2 lakh crore of debt they already have. So this is really critical, but I'm sure this is not the end of the fundraising. They would need to raise more funds going forward, even if they do this 45,000 crores, because the moratorium period will soon end on the AGR payments and the other spectrum dues. And as you know, government has already converted the debt to become a 33% shareholder. They might have to increase their shareholding if they're not able to raise funds in future and not able to pay the spectrum dues and the AGR dues.
Okay, Gurmeet, since we have you with us, Vodafone Idea, of course, we need more clarity, we need more specifics. But overall, how are you looking at Bharti? I mean, do you have any interest in the other two telecom plays that are out there? We had a lot of positive statements from Mr. Sunil Bharti Mittal at the Mobile World Congress just last evening. He's saying selling down, getting away from non-core businesses like insurance, talking about the enterprise segment really building up. Any thoughts on Bharti?
Extremely constructive. I think we've seen some re-rating in the stock already in last 12 months. The ARPU is best in the industry at close to 210 now. Also, if you see the data usage, it's continuously climbing up for them. It's almost now 22 GB per month. They continue to gain on 4G net additions quarter on quarter. It's now almost 71% of the portfolio. So, and one thing which I like there is that premiumization is happening in other segments also, other than the mobility. So if you see OTT, if you see broadband, if you see the complete digital portfolio they have, the enterprise segment, Airtel Business, I think that's premiumization is happening there. Then there are emerging spend areas which they pointed out, in the call, on CPaaS, on security, on data centers. I've mentioned this. I'm extremely positive on data centers with the big Indian corporate boys getting into it. More importantly, I think the capital allocation. If you see, they were very smart in 5G auction. They've not only bolstered their mid and low band in 5G, they've got many circles. So they were very prudent in spending money. There's no further much capex now for FY25. So if you see last 2 quarters, the free cash flow is around 5,500 odd crores. So if you keep adding 5,000 crores every quarter as free cash flows, that could lead to some debt leveraging also. The debt is already down to almost 1.2, 1.3 lakh crores. So there is financial leverage, there is operating leverage, and there is premiumization playing out. So I'm extremely constructive even at these price levels.
Okay, no, I got that. Nitin, just one last point. In the space, in this telecom space, right, what's the real roadmap? I mean, for players? And, fundamentally, which is the one business that you, from a equity, maybe unfair question to you, but that looks the strongest from here? Now, I mean, it doesn't have to be pure carriers, but, on the tower side, etc. as well.
No, sure. I think we have a stable outlook on the sector for 2024, and we do rate Bharti at BBB minus with a stable outlook, and their financial performance has been really excellent in the past few years. And the whole industry has been repaired with the consolidated market share between Jio and Bharti, and they're still gaining market share at the expense of Vodafone Idea. I think the story which will play out in the next few years is all about 5G. Data consumption, which is 22 GB, is one of the highest, I think, probably in the world, and definitely highest in Asia, is still going to grow because India is a unique market where people consume data on a small screen, and they don't they move, and they want to look at the Netflix and YouTubes of the world on their small screen on mobile phones. So data consumption is going to grow. The industry has not seen a price hike in a while because of probably high inflation and some of the reluctance from the players. But I think the average revenue per user will still grow because of higher data consumption, because of customers moving from 2G, 3G to 4G, and then eventually to 5G. So the ARPU will keep on increasing. EBITDA margin expansion will happen because of the improvement in the average revenue per user. And I think Jio and Bharti would still be, in our view, would be the highest. They will experience highest revenue growth in Asia Pacific telecom market. So high revenue growth led by the higher data consumption. That's really the story going forward.
All right, we'll leave it there. Nitin, appreciate you joining in. Good speaking with you. It's been a while. And Gurmeet, thank you very much as always for joining us here on CNBC TV18. Thank you very much.